So my last video, I talked about search and doing an audit on search and what that looks like when I have done audits for friends, not only in my company, but outside my company as well. But now I'm going to talk about doing audits for social and what I'm looking for with social. So I did a whole video about how I came about pivoting a lot of budget over to video on social and how much better that did. So if you want, go back and watch that episode. It was about, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago. But when I'm looking at video, or when I'm looking at social, I'm looking for a couple of things. So a lot of manufacturers, a lot of vendors for DigAd are very beholden to the AIA carousel. Frankly, outside of used, I don't see AIA carousels doing a whole lot for the dealership to generate clicks into the store. Now think about it this way. Your new inventory. How many Honda dealers have that same Camry or Odyssey in their dealership? So there's nothing, I know it's going to sound awful, there's nothing exciting about that Camry or Odyssey or Ram 1500 or Grand Cherokee or Sentra that's going to want to make people kind of scroll through it like that. But used cars, because they're unique, because there's one of that particular model, or one of 3 maybe, that's why they're getting more, that's why they're going to get more interaction, because there is a benefit to going through and looking at the specific vehicle and clicking into the VDP. There's more benefit to the customer. Like, that's why you see better performance on your used AIAs. But I'll challenge you, if you're very beholden to AIAs, to make either an intro video, it has to be short, 6 seconds, or put an intro card with whatever the offer is that you want to run with that particular campaign. And the reason I say that is, and I was just looking at this with a friend. So he had a baby budget for social. They had, I think, $1,000 for social. And they were running 2 different AIA campaigns. Neither one of them had good frequency. You want to look for, I usually look for a 5 or a 6. This had a 2 and the other one had a 3. So not very good frequency. There were no leads from it. The clicks from the ads out was very minimal. But the reach was in the 20, 30,000s. So then I have to look at, why am I getting such a high reach, but I'm not getting any interaction? The frequency's low. That's number 1. We're not spending enough money. That's number 2. And I looked at the ad copy. The ad copy wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was kind of meh. So we've got 3 things fighting against us as far as engagement goes. So what I instructed, my advice to the person who asked me to audit the campaign is, okay, so let's do this. Let's combine both those AIAs into one, because this particular store was actually a Cadillac store, and they had EVs split into one AIA and then everything else new. Well, everything that Cadillac has pretty much, except for I think 2 models is electric right now, so why split them up? So I said, put them all in one. Ask the dealer if they want to do a video, or if they prefer to keep like an intro card with just one offer on it, and see what they come back with. And I gave them the parameters for video. And I said, that's step 1. And step 2, let's punch up the ad copy. So I threw the current ad copy into my handy dandy AI assistant and asked the assistant to make this ad copy more eye-grabbing, compelling, punchy, things like that. And it did. It spit out 5 different versions, as AI does. It spit out 5 different versions of the ad copy that I can then take back to the client, and I can say, hey, I'll usually only take 2 versions back, or I'll pick one. I'll be like, hey, I like this one. What do you think? And so I gave that advice to my friend, the rep, who asked me to help. And I said, this is what I would run on the prospecting, and this is what I would run on the remarketing version of the same campaign. And we essentially doubled the money for that one campaign, as opposed to having 2 campaigns with splitting a very baby budget. So you're going to increase your frequency of your ad, which is going to increase the engagement. That's the hope anyway. And so I told them in about 30 days, you're going to look back on this, the performance, the day we made the change, and the performance of the ad going forward. Now, if you still are not seeing enough of a uptick in the engagement on the ad, not the reach of the ad. The reach of the ad was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the engagement on the ad, the actionable engagement on the ad, then you need to change up what you're doing. So you're going to need to either change it to a video, a static tiled offers, something along those lines. Now, we also had a budget for fixed stops, which is unusual, but we had a budget for fixed stops. And so what they were running on fixed stops was a static tiled ad, 10% off of any offer, off of any service, if you book same day or something along those lines. I forgot what it was. Anyway, so what I recommended was actually that we change that to tiled offers. What do I mean by that? So when your website provider creates service specials for your site, or if a third-party company does it, whoever does it, they send you PDF files with offers, with whatever the service offers on it. You approve them, and everybody goes about their business. What I told them to do is ask them for those PDF assets, those files to those assets, to send them to you, so that then you can then put those ads on social in a tiled carousel. And the ad copy, same thing. You need to have the CTA, book here, click here to book your appointment now. And then the ad copy needs to be punchy, like throw it in there, throw it in ChatGPT or Merlin or Grok or whatever your preferred AI system is, and ask them for better ad copy. So the point of all that is don't be afraid to make changes. Don't be afraid to extend past what the comfort zone is of the dealer, because if you keep doing the same things and expecting different results, we all know what the definition that is. So because DigAd is constantly pivoting, I try to pivot too. I try to make small tweaks and adjustments to make sure that my ads are feeding the right audience. So in social, I have another store app in a really rural area that's just not really, they're not a Facebook area for some reason, which is odd, but usually more rural areas have more of a Facebook presence than this particular store does. So we actually dialed back the social presence, and we stepped up the PMAX presence. And I don't even want to hear the hate on PMAX. I know what it is. I don't care what your opinion is. I have mine. So we stepped back the social assets. We put that budget towards PMAX, and we actually saw a defined and definite improvement on the ads. So, but for social specifically, I want to stay on task because I already covered PMAX. Stay on task. So for social specifically, I really encourage you to, if the frequency is not there, especially if the reach isn't there, you definitely need to make changes in the tactic that you're using. Don't stick with the same strategy. Throw more money at it and think you're going to solve the problem. Especially in today's environment, nobody can afford to do that. So I would encourage you to get a little bit outside your comfort zone and get creative with your budget, get creative with your ad copy, and keep evolving it and changing it and making it fresh if you want to get the engagement you're looking for. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.